Libby was the bravest person. Even on her last day, she was able to capture a video of the person that killed her in the end and her best friend. So that bravery just sticks with me and will stick with me forever. Libby was not just a victim. It's so important that we remember the things that she was and the person she was, and not just the bad things that happened to her. Because she is not what happened to her. She is the person I knew, my sister, my best friend. Libby's favorite activities were just arts and crafts and different things that had to do with music. She did just about anything that would keep her busy. So she played the saxophone in middle school. She was in soccer, swimming, volleyball, any sport she could, softball. She just wanted to stay busy and continue to do something. She hated having free time. That wasn't her thing. Libby was the funniest person. She always wanted to make people laugh, so she would walk into a room and tell a joke, or she would walk in and say, "Hey, you're really pretty," and just always made the best of every moment. Talking about Libby is the most therapeutic thing that I think I've ever been able to do. I can continue to talk about her story, and it opens up new wounds sometimes, but I'm able to work through those because I talk about it. And it helps me to remember that she's never going to be forgotten and somebody's always going to know because I'll always be able to tell her story. I usually have dreams about Libby when something big's happening in my life. So for example, when I was starting to decide when I wanted to go to college, where I wanted to go to college, what I wanted to study, and I was kind of shifting from journalism to criminal justice and forensic science, I realized that that's what I was passionate about, and so I kind of moved in a different direction, and I was having a really hard time with that, and I had my first dream of Libby. And it was just us on a beach and her telling me that everything was going to be okay. And that's, I don't ever get to hear her voice any other time, but when I do, it's in those dreams, and it's the ones you want to stay dreaming. You don't want to wake up, you want to stay in it. I actually spend a lot of time at her grave during the summer, so I always feel really close to her there, or walking down the aisle at graduation, or just driving in my car and I feel her presence just listening to music, or when I'm doing my homework and I see something, I'm like, wow, Libby would really be interested in learning about this, and she's just always there in all of those moments. Never stop pushing, never stop telling their story, always continue to tell people, and don't be discouraged when people come to you and say they've never heard, because you met them and now you can tell them and now they can say that they know that story. So keep going, keep meeting every person you can and taking every opportunity you can, but don't overdo it. There are a lot of moments where like I feel paranoid and I didn't realize that that was a sign of PTSD, which you would think that I would know that because I studied psychology, but um, I didn't think that the way I felt paranoid was PTSD. I thought it was more just being paranoid because Bridge Guy is still out there. But then when I was talking to my new therapist, I went back and forth with therapy for a while. I was just going when I felt like I needed it, and now I go pretty regularly. And I've learned that I have a lot of triggers that um, I didn't think were triggers that now I have to work through. Um, and not just PTSD from that. Like watching the movie wasn't that triggering for me, but now certain things trigger me more. So like sometimes if I see like old men or young men now, like walking behind me, I will turn around and walk the other way, even if I don't need to go that way. And I still have really vivid, crazy nightmares at least once a week. Well, and not just that, but also like all my dream focuses around the bridge. I'm usually at the bridge, and I'm being chased by a faceless man. So really, my dream is Libby's video. Um, and I'm running back and forth on the bridge, and I'm being chased by this person, and I can't find my sister. And that's Usually the same one I have every time, but usually they're very vivid. I can see everything except his face.
Yeah,
And I usually wake up sweating. And sometimes I end up seeing my sister and I get to talk to my sister, which sometimes I'll take it. And it's the only time that I feel like I hear her voice. Because, like, we have videos, but most of them just have her laugh. Not a lot of them have her voice, but every time she's in a dream, she's always telling me that it's going to be okay. Like, there's never been a dream where it's anything other than that. She just says it's going to be okay. And so I tend to, like, if that's the end of my dream, usually I can sleep through it. But if it's just the nightmare part, then usually
I'm your worst nightmare.